So this will be a very quick video on the definition of what we call vertical angles. Now this is an extension of the special pairs of angles that we talked about last lesson, where we looked at complementary and supplementary angles. And the next special pair of angles that we'll talk about are called vertical angles. And it's not that vertical angles add up to a particular degree measure, although degree measures do have a part to play in it, and we'll look at that more involved in the worksheet that you're filling out for homework tonight, as well as in class tomorrow. But vertical angles happen in a circumstance such as in this picture. This is a picture of some steel girders that are used to hold up a bridge. Now, as you can see, we have a whole bunch of girders that are all coming together here. And in many cases, these girders are creating straight lines. For example, the one that's being drawn in red here could be one straight line if we were to draw it on a plane. The one that's in purple could be one, and the one that's in yellow here could also be one. So we have lots of lines that are all intersecting at this one vertex point, which again, a vertex is just where two lines, segments, rays, etc. come together. And so if we chose two of those lines, just those two that are now highlighted in red, and we ignored all of the other girders that are there, we can see that there are basically four angles that are created. We have angle 1, which goes from that ray. We'll call them ray. We don't actually talk about it like this, but rays A, B, C, and D. To go from ray A to ray D is angle 1. From D to C is angle 2. From C to B is angle 3. And from B back to A is angle 4. And so they're made by the intersection of those two lines, two straight lines that come together and continue on. So it's not just one angle, it's this whole series of angles. And when we have two lines that intersect like this, this is the situation that creates vertical angles. And so we can see that angle 1 and angle 3 actually don't share any rays. In that last picture, let's bring it back up. Angle 1 was from A to D, and angle 3 was from C to B. But they are directly across from each other in terms of those intersecting lines. And that makes them what we call vertical angles. And the same thing is true of angle 4 and angle 2. They don't share any rays. Angle 2 made by the yellow rays there. Angle 4 made by the green ones. They intersect right there at the center, at the vertex, but none of the rays are the same. Those are called vertical angles. So go ahead, pause the video. You're going to write down this definition of vertical angles, and you're going to go ahead and copy down the image that we have right here. Now, write down the definition now, and I'm going to give you another page that has the image on it that makes it a little bit easier to draw and see without all of the marks there. So copy down the definition, and then unpause when you're ready to move on. So another image to look at vertical angles is this one here. We can see I've put two transparent sort of ovals right there. Angles 2 and 4 are vertical, and angles 1 and 3 are vertical. So if you didn't get a chance to copy down this image yet, go ahead, pause the video, just copy down the two red lines and the angles that make up the vertical angles in this picture. And so one more case where we might see vertical angles out there in the world is, for example, skiers. When you have, athletes who go to the X Games or in the Olympics and they're doing tricks and skiers cross their skis, they actually create vertical angles too across the vertex in each of those circumstances. So again, this video just talks about the definition of vertical angles, which are the ones that are made by intersecting lines, but the angles that don't share any rays, so the ones the arrows are pointing to with the various colors here in this image, and that anytime we have two intersecting lines, we can create vertical angles. So we'll talk more about what that means in class, more about what that means on the worksheet you're about to do. That is your introduction to vertical angles.